guys. It's a little after 5:30 here this morning. It's about 60 degrees and rainy, so that's the snazzy outfit. I've made a few minor changes to the place. Shed's the same. Ignore the junk. It's been a hectic couple of weeks here. I have gotten a rain fly for my tent, which is great because it's going to be, it looks like another rainy summer. So right there, that's an Amazon find. Unfortunately, White Duck, while they were creating a rain fly for this tent, didn't have it available until the end of July, and obviously I need it now. It's June 6th or 7th or something like that. So, and already well into the rainy season here. The bird feeder that I made last year, just swoop you around here, is an enormous hit. As you can see, they've cleaned it out. I filled this yesterday and they've cleaned it out, and they're here every day. You can hear them in the trees griping at me because I haven't filled it yet this morning. The bird house that I made was actually used by a family of birds, and there's a nest in there. So I have to take the front off of that and clean it out because the birds like to have a fresh bird box every year to make a new nest. But that was also a success, which is great. I talked a little bit about some trees that I had to take down, and here is the biggest offender. This was a giant aspen tree that was directly behind my tent, and that was causing me no end of problems with my Starlink signal. So I was able to get this down, and you can see it's made quite the mess here on my lawn. Well, this is what happens when trees don't fall the way you want them to. I had a big aspen up there that is now down here. I needed to get out of my view for Starlink, so you can see the Starlink satellite right there, and this was all blocked up in the sky. So I had it set to fall that way behind the tent, and it was back leaning hard, and so it came back, and I lost one of those birches, darn it. It came back and dropped into a grouping of eastern white pines, which I wanted to take out anyway. So it did a little bit of the work for me, but unfortunately, this is the state of it here. I'll put a picture of what it originally looked like before I started cleaning it up, but this is my driveway, and it was all completely covered with tree. So I'm gradually getting it cleared out because I was actually going to make a trip into town to get fuel. So I need to be able to move up and down my driveway, but yeah, be careful. Be careful, because trees are not always going to fall where you expect them to. And when they don't, it can be dangerous. As an example, here's my well head. It just barely missed my well by like maybe 6 inches. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get up there a little bit. I'm struggling because I unfortunately chainsawed my shin the other day. I'll also include some pictures of that. But yeah, I got lucky. It could have hit in that well. It could have hurt the hose, but everything seems good. Here on my lawn, I've been nibbling away at it, working slowly, because in my efforts to clear the hill this year, I started working with a chainsaw, and I was doing really well, getting things knocked down. And then right at the end, when I was just about ready to quit, I slipped and cut myself across the shin. My downhill foot was not as secure as I thought it was going to be. Just as I pulled the bar out of the back cut so that it wouldn't get pinched down, my downhill foot slipped and caused me to hit my shin with the running chainsaw. So I'll put some pictures in here. They're not pretty, but it basically accounted to 11 stitches. And so I've been moving a little slow. I'm still able to work. I can obviously walk around. It's just taken a while to heal up, and because I'm limping a little bit, I'm not properly balancing, and it makes my legs and hips sore. I've updated my solar array a little bit here. Again, I apologize for how out of my grass isn't very well cut but you can see here I've updated the solar array. I calculated about a 30-degree angle. That's great for this latitude or longitude or whatever it is. Anyway, this far north you need about a 30-degree angle. It's still not ideal. These are facing more southeast than south. So behind me you can see one of the improvements I made this year. I've got a canopy. The tarp did a really good job of keeping the picnic table covered, but it would, it's got the same problems any tarp has, which is it flexes a lot in the wind. The guy wires loosen up a lot, so I was constantly retiring the guy wires. And then we had so much rain last year that it would just sag. The water would collect and pool in it, and you'd get these giant bubbles of water. So I was constantly having to empty it. Whereas this is pretty much self-sustaining. I set it up, little pop-up awning from, I think, Harbor Freight that I got for almost nothing. And then I have added some solar lights to see if I can make these work while you guys are watching. So I added solar lights to it. You can trust me. I'll insert some pictures of them working. I think the batteries are dead because it's been gloomy. So they were working last night, but they probably lost their charge because they ran overnight. I also added in preparation of putting a hard roof in the kitchen, I replaced the string or parachute cord that we had along the back here. It's difficult to see here in the dimness, but there's a wooden board. That's going to be the rear support for the hard roof that I want to put on this summer. So I also added this little solar light. I'll try and make that one work as well. Bear with me. I prop this up. So that's a helpful addition. It's not super bright, which is great. Move my coffee. It's not super bright, which is great. It's just enough light to move your way around the kitchen. You can down lighting for the countertop, which is great. I did have an issue with one of the countertop boards that I installed last year. It did not dry as well as I'd hoped. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit here. So you can see here, this backboard has split and lifted. The front board is great. It's nice and stable and flat. These ones over here, also nice and stable and flat, so they're doing well. That one board is just, I suspected this was going to happen because there was a lot of tension in that aspen tree when I was milling it up. As soon as I would slice the boards off the main tree, some of them would almost immediately try to cup. This one wasn't this bad when I popped it off, and I let it dry for a couple of weeks before I used it, but obviously it needed some more drying time, and there was a lot of tension in the wood, otherwise it would not have split like this. So I'm not going to try and save it. I'll use it for something else. I mean, I've got about half of it. Right around there is flat, and then it starts to cup up. So I can cut that into a table or something. I'll cut another piece of lumber to remake that countertop off of the tree that's been sitting since last October when I left. The picnic table is doing well. It's a little bit stained up. I had plastic over it for the winter, and you can see some of it was covered and lasted really well. The rest of it was exposed to the weather, so it started to gray. I'm not a real fan of that look. And then the pine seating that I have on there is also turning gray a bit. So I have some tung oil on order, and I'm going to sand this all back and give it a coat of tung oil and I'll film some of that so that you guys can see the difference that it makes. It should bring it back to almost new quality, if not better than new. I'm a little disappointed in the endurance of that homemade waterproofing that I created out of wax and oil. So I think I'm going to just I'll sand the entire tops of everything and do however much tung oil will soak into this. I need to do some of that work on the flooring in the outhouse as well. We'll go look at that next. So here is the cherry outhouse, and you can see the bench itself. Maybe you can see, it's very dim today, sorry. The bench itself is in good shape. It lasted through the winter very well. I didn't really do much to protect it. I had some things stacked on top of it, but I didn't like seal this up or anything. But the floor, which is exposed to the weather and rain and snow, is a little bit worse for wear. So here again, I'm going to make sure that all the screws are down below floor level. I think I set them pretty well. And then I'm going to clean it really well, sand it all down, and this will also get a coat of tung oil. And then I'll do a coat of tung oil on the bench just to bring the color back. It's still really well protected, and it has not lost a lot of color, and neither have really the uprights, which are still really beautiful. But I guess the water laying on this surface has just been problematic, so I'm going to try and fix that up once I get that oil. This bench, again, a little bit worse for wear. That oil coat did not do as good a job as I wanted, so you got a little bit of mold staining on there. Nothing that I can't fix with a little bit of sandpaper and again some tung oil. I cut the legs a little bit too short, and it was kind of a chore to scribe those around the bottom of the tree, so I just have them sitting up on stumps. I got some stump pieces that were left over from more aspen, and I cut them to bring it up so that it's at a comfortable seating height. But I'm looking for suggestions what I could do to make this better. I really don't want to remake the legs. I will if I have to. I've got plenty of aspen, as you saw in that big down tree over there. But if I don't have to remake the legs, I'd like to just try and add something to bring it up. It's comfortable to sit on, but it's still a few inches lower than I would like it. So if any of you have any ideas in the comments, let me know. That would be great. The outdoor shower is working great. I've got the convertible roof on. Solar panel is doing its job, charging up the battery. The IBC tote is doing great, holding water and providing like literally months of clean water for me to shower in without having to refill. Not a lot of charge on the charge controller today because no sun. That's going to be a little bit of problematic. I do have what I think is going to be a helpful solution for that, or at least aid in getting more sun, and that's going to be an upcoming project. I have pretty much all the parts I need for it. I just haven't started it yet, just because it's not critical to me getting up and running here, and this is really what I've been focusing on, is just getting up and running. One good news is I was able to save the money, and this hideous power pole that is directly in the middle of where I'd like to put my garage is going to be going away, and it's going to go down the hill, and then when I do want to hook up to power, I will run conduit in a trench and bring it up underground, so I'm not spoiling the view with a lot of overhead wires. So I am super excited. This has been a long time coming. It's not cheap. It's going to be, $3,000 to $4,000 to get that just moved to the bottom of the hill. That does not include running power back up the hill. It's just moving the pole. But it's worth it because it's literally just this giant eyesore amidst the woods. So, and it is right where I want to put my garage, because as I walk down this way, I'm walking into the driveway. And so right there, I'd like to dig into the hill, put in a concrete pad, a knee wall, probably 4 feet tall, a block, and then build a garage on top of the knee wall so that I have some insulated space. I'm going to walk down this way and show you guys the driveway. That was a giant concern last year. It was getting washed out a lot. Here's a different view of this mess of trees that I have over my shoulder here. So I'm gradually working on getting rid of those. I'm just taking my time because I'm injured. The driveway itself is doing really well. The section that I was really having problems with is coming up here. This is a logging road that comes down the hill where they logged the property previously. So it comes down, and it was dumping a bunch of water here. Let me flip the camera around so you can see it. It was dumping a bunch of water here, and that was washing out the driveway. So they dug down in, they filled with this, I think they call it riprap rock. It's fairly large, fist-sized to head-sized stones. I got to do a better job of cleaning out these leaves before we get a significant amount of rain. But they put a culvert in here. As you can see, that's a good 12-inch culvert that goes under the driveway, supported by rocks, comes out the other side of the driveway over here, and allows the water to drain down the hill. And so far, everything has been fine. I think they had a pretty heavy snowfall this winter, as well as a lot of rain this spring. And so far, nothing's washed out. It's still all in place. It could use a little bit of raking and compacting because it's got some dips in it. You can see they continued the riprap down here and then all the way down to the end of the driveway. So I think this is finally stable, where I can not have to worry about rebuilding it every year, which is great because that's an expense that I really don't want to keep redoing. So this is where I'm at right now. Obviously I've got some lawn mowing to do. I really haven't had a lot of time to do that. I've been trying to get the trees down so that I could get the tent up so that I could work. Those trees were really causing a problem with my satellite signal. And it looks like I've got yet another tree right there that is just looming over my tent. So I'm going to have to make sure that that comes down and doesn't damage my tent. It's a constant battle against these standing dead eastern white pines. So it's 64 degrees and raining. I don't know if you can hear it on the canopy. But I've got my first cup of coffee, and I'll have another. And then it's time to get ready for work. I'll work all day, and then I think I'm gonna try and mow the lawn today if it's not too wet. But all in all, the property did really well over the winter. The floor in the kitchen and the dining room area is solid. Didn't move at all. I had very few little pops of grass or weeds coming up through, which is great. And the fire pit, the rocking, the natural stone that I applied to the fire pit is still really solid. So all in all, most of the projects that I had last year are a success. The picnic table is still rock solid. It just needs a little bit of cleanup. And I'm excited for this summer. I got a lot of things going on, but I'm excited.